Okay, today we're going to talk about manga faces. And there's all different styles of manga faces, so as we can see here, depending upon the face that you're trying to draw, the construction of the outline might be very different, whether you're trying to draw a chibi, or a youth, teenager, or an adult. At the very top we can see a cartoon face and a chibi face, and they both have round faces. But you can see if we look, particularly if we overlay them, and we can look at the eyes. The cartoon one, the eyes are very high compared to the chibi, which are very low. And also, in addition to the shape of the eyes, they're separated quite a bit in the manga versus the cartoon face. So that's the thing that you want to pay attention to the most, which is the position of the eyes. Now, as we look at the different characters, we can start with here a basic guideline shape, which here starts always with the circle. So just to understand the different proportions of the different faces, we can start with our basic circle here, and then what you do after you've drawn the circle is you can draw a guideline halfway through the circle right there horizontally. Then you can draw another guideline that's halfway between the middle of the circle and the bottom of the circle, so that's 1/4 of the way up. And you can use that same spacing to draw a line below the circle and a second line below the circle. Now the second line is the furthest that a face will come, depending upon how narrow or wide you want that face to be. Okay, an adult will be a little bit wider, but teenagers will be narrower. So this basic shape can show us how these faces compare. So if I go back to that, we can comparison chart, we can see that a chibi is really just the size of that circle, and then a youth comes down a little bit more than 1/4 below that circle. Now, you can, of course, have a youth which is much smaller even. A teenager basically comes down almost the same size as an adult face, but it's narrower and comes more to a point if we compare the adult. And if you look at the eyes on the teenager are a little bit larger and a little bit below that 1/4 line. The youth has even bigger eyes, and the chibi, of course, their eyes are almost 1/4 of a circle. Now that brings us to the different faces that we can see, the different shapes of the faces, and we can kind of see those. As we said, the chibi eyes are very low, and you might trim off a little bit of that circle to make the shape of the chibi face. Again, the youth has very low, so always below halfway of the circle. And the teenager, his eyes are small and again very low. And if you'll note, this place where the chin begins is a little bit below 1/4 of the circle. And then the adult, if we compare, his face comes almost straight down, whereas the teenager is slanting in a little bit more. So let's kind of look at the teenage face and focus on that one a little bit. And see if we can practice drawing that one. So, again, let's draw this together. Just draw your circle, and you'll just really draw lightly. You can go around. Some people try to stay flowing. Others might use a kind of a jaggy way to do it. Some people like that. But we can just draw the circle here, and you might draw a vertical line here. And we can just see that the line comes down a little bit to the angle, and then you try to get that point. Make sure the chin meets in a little, but you can round the point a little bit if you want. And then you can see that the eyes are quite low. So that's the basic shape that you want to deal with. In another situation, we can kind of look at the different angles that we might want to see from different views. We can see the basic views of that face. So if we want to draw the image from different angles, here's what it would look like. So we can see in the front, draw the circle. Now in this one here you had a more rounded chin that you can see. So again, that chin shape is the thing that will be the difference between a teenager, a chibi, an adult. And you can see a 3/4 view, it comes over to the side. And then a profile, it just comes straight down, and then you've got the chin. Then you've got the back side in these different angles. So that's the basics of understanding the different faces or head shapes.